It's still on for Queensland though. Ponga through. Caleb Ponga, the magic man from Newcastle. And he's put his state ahead.
Hello and welcome to Friday Lines. I'm your host for today, Nikki Sylvester. Friday Lines is proudly brought to you by Little Birdie TV, Punting Form, Manscaped and topsport.com.au. Joining me today is MG for all things AFL, and we've also got the king of State of Origin, Toprope, up there in orange in the studio with us today. MG.
How you going, Nikki? Big week.
I'm on a high. Woohoo!
We can't tell. Yes. We'll get to your Origin trip in a minute, but AFL been overshadowed by plenty of sport going on this week, but we did have one of Toprope's favourites.
A coach sacking?
Coach sacking, yes.
You
Unfortunately, the Kangaroos part ways with David Noble. He's lost 14 games straight, so it was probably on the cards to do it. But, they parted ways. So, team in crisis there, Toprope. Another coach sacking, one of your favourites.
I absolutely love it. Nothing like some blood on the floor. I don't know anything about this this David Noble. Would maybe give us a little bit of insight as to who's going to get the job, MG? Are we going to see, a return of like a Dean Laidley, Tim Sheen style at the Tigers, or any old club favourites in the mix?
Yeah, I'm not sure they recycle them like they do in rugby league. They love giving them 5, 6, 7, 8 chances in rugby league, but the AFL, they're lucky to get a second chance. But no, just the reserves coach going to step up for the rest of the season, and then they'll sort someone out, Toprope. But I'm not sure many people will be lined up for this job, I don't think. They're a team have got some problems.
Yeah, they are a team in all sorts, in dire straits, and exactly like, if you put your name to the job, what's going to happen? Like if you also don't perform and the team don't perform for you, you know what your future is. So
yeah, well, they only go and they don't have a history of giving them much time either.
No.
So I think they said the captain Zeebles had four coaches already in his career. So they don't hang around long, and they want instant success. Unfortunately, the position they're in, it's going to be a fair rebuild again. So no good for the Kangaroos.
No good for the Kangaroos. Also, so what have we got? We've got the West Tigers have got the 2025 Benji Marshall.
The West Tigers, who have sacked more coaches than any club over the last decade, have locked in 2 coaches for the next 7 years. I'll give you the tip. By 2027, they're going to be paying about 7 coaches. The way things are headed, it's the club is. I don't know. Kind of just taking what you're saying about the Kangaroos and the AFL. I'm going to dare say the Tigers are of a similar thing. They are the worst run club. The CEO, Justin Pascoe, is one of the grade A morons of rugby league, more attuned to being on the block than he is to being a CEO of a rugby league team, and have gone and in one of the most stunning hires of all time, really, have pulled back Tim Sheen, their premiership winning coach from 2005. Bear in mind, I know you two are both good at maths. That's 17 years ago. He was sacked at the Tigers 10 years ago, has done very little since, other than a pretty uninspiring coach in the Super League. Comes back as a football manager, has denied wants to coach. All of a sudden, he's the last man standing. He's the head coach. Astonishing. And then to top it all off, they've given a long-term deal to Benji Marshall, who has not even been an assistant coach, who retired last year. Truly, truly astonishing. Only at the West Tigers.
I was thinking about that last night, and I thought perhaps they've seen the success that Billy Slater had, right? And I'm not saying Benji Marshall is anywhere near a Billy Slater, nor would he have had any of the coaching prowess that Billy Slater would have been given under the tutelage that he had. But maybe they've seen the result that he had in his first Origin series as coach, and they've gone, geez, do you know what? We might have that with Benji Marshall. Let's make him the coach in 2025. I'm just saying. Like, is that a theory for a club that is obviously as poorly run as that? Perhaps they've seen this and they've gone, okay, we'll implement something like that.
I don't disagree with that line of thinking. What they probably should look towards the NRL coaching career of Brad Fittler as a probably more pertinent example as to where as to what they're doing. Like the good coaches in the NRL, you look at Trent Robinson's, Craig Bellamy's, the guys have kind of done a pretty good job. Have typically been an assistant coach under a good coach. Benji maybe getting that. I'm not sure if a 71-year-old Tim Sheens is the right kind of guidance, but maybe. I'm not going to rule it out. But usually they have a pretty, if they've been a head coach at a lower grade before, you're certainly given a head coaching job with only 2 years assistant coaching experience. It's very, very rare. So, this is nothing. This is a PR hire. Like, this is just for Tigers fans to get off their back and go, oh, great, a club legend, 2 club legends are coming in for the old premiership winning coach. Like you mentioned before, MG, that coaches get recycled a bit in league. They tend to get recycled from kind of club to club. There certainly is a kind of cadre out there who do that. But it's incredibly rare for a club to bring back an older coach. The Broncos did it with Wayne Bennett, got a little bit of success there for years, but he was a fair bit younger. The Panthers did it with Ivan Cleary after he was away for 3 or 4 years. But a coach returning after a decade, that is a long time out of football. Football in 2012 looked very different to football in 2022. It's a truly astonishing hire.
Do they, I guess, is it to appease the Tigers fans in any way to say, listen, we've got a long-term plan, so if they come in for the next 2 years and Sheens doesn't do any good, then they say, well, we're holding out for Benji Marshall. Have they got the ability, if Sheens doesn't go any good, say for next year, do they bring Benji forward? Is it like an out clause almost that they're setting down for the next 3 to 5 years?
I think that's their thinking, but no one believes it. No Tigers fans buy into this. Tigers fans more than anyone know what a diabolical state the club is in, but it's pretty clear that it was a very unattractive job. They probably weren't going to get any of the gun assistants. There's not a lot out there, so they needed a holding coach. Fine, if you really seriously, I don't think the Tim Sheens hire is very stupid. If you want a holding coach, he is the Tigers. I kind of get it. I just do not understand putting Benji Marshall in that position. If you're going to sign him, put him in there as an assistant for a couple of years. But to lock in a kind of coach for the next 5, 6, 7 years, who with zero experience, defies belief. And only the Tigers would do that. Seriously, absolutely moronic. I love Benji. Benji's great on television. Benji is one of the smartest brains in footy. Benji may well turn out to be a gun coach. But to when you're a badly run club who hasn't made the finals in over a decade, to hit your wagon like that, just truly astonishing.
Can we get to the important stuff? State of origin. You are the king of origin. You have literally tipped the card in all 3 games. Anyone who got your GGOA for the origin would clearly be up and about right now, because you literally tipped it. It was insane. I went with you, and it was so good to be there. And I think I would text you. You were the GOAT. You got my running commentary.
It was a great result. That last Ponga try put him in to put the Maroons in front and put Ponga in from about an 8-1 shot into about $1.40. So pretty good to be on the $13. Man of the match, I think, in all 3 games, and we certainly got the big bets in all 3 games as well. So it was a good result, great Origin series, and in fairness, only Brad Fittler didn't really see what was coming. It was the referee was always going to referee towards Queensland's favour, and that's not kind of suggesting any bias there. That's just game 3 referees pocket the whistle. They don't give much away, particularly in front of a crowd. If they're anything like you, Nikki, a raucous crowd. So, so it was good. And look, Queensland absolutely deserved it. It was the most Queensland of Queensland wins. Their ethos, their legend has been built on these kind of wins. Backs against the wall, no one gives us a chance. We haven't got the talent, and they pull it out. And that was typical win there. And the Roosters, the chickens really came home to roost on. For Brad Fittler on Wednesday night. Some of the team selections were stupid. We kind of mentioned all series. They're not Tupou, Alvarado, Carr, picking Talakai, but a guy who is in the top 50 players available to finish that whole thing around, leaving out the star player from game 1. The Blues deserved to lose, and they were out-coached, they were outsmarted, they were outplayed, and it was a great win for Queensland.
Listen, for those who missed it, our Origin was on Wednesday night, and Queensland won 22-12 after being down at halftime. And as good as the game was on field, and some are saying that it was possibly one of the best Origins of all time, Toprope doesn't put it as the best, but close to. Toprope, your tipping throughout not only Game 3, but the whole Origin series was outstanding. Hall of Fame-like performance. And I know last year we ran the Hall of Fame and we haven't had it up this year, but there's a nomination for you going into the Hall of Fame. And I know it's your Hall of Fame, so it's hard to tip you in, but seriously, like and everyone's got punters clubs that they, that we are involved in and everything like that. But just for a series of 3 games, to tip what you did throughout, 3 games, and even we were on Monday's show.
Yeah, that's right. Monday he tipped the line.
Yeah.
You tipped the unders. You tipped Queensland.
Yep.
And
tipped man of the match.
And you tipped man of the match. And then
$13.
Yep.
And you're only, in my opinion, a short pass for the first try, but if it was a longer pass, which Oates was waiting next man out
so
at $12 or $13 as well, you would have nailed the first try as well. So that's as a complete tipping performance as I've seen, and I was privy to all of it. And I'm just converted now. It's just like, not only has it paid a few holidays, which everyone's excited for at the end of the year, which we'll be sending you postcards, but that was astonishing. So next year when the Origin Series rolls around, seriously, there is no better man to be following than our man Toprope for sure.
He's the king of Origin. He's the GOAT.
It was astonishing, From Munster onwards, it was a clinic. And, and your chips all in again, even after Queensland were outsiders before Munster and that were pulled out. You said they had the wrong favourite when it was plus, I think, 2 or 3. And even when they came out, you backed it up again on the Monday at the plus 8. And I think they got to plus 9 in certain areas. So outstanding work, Toprope. It was a pleasure to witness.
Well, after that, I'm a little speechless. It's usually hard to keep me quiet, but I haven't got much to say. So thank you, guys.
Outstanding. All right, golf.
Yes, on to the golf. Round 1 leaderboard. What have we got? Cam Young, 8 under. Did he have a chance to? Did he miss one? And he could have been with a 10 under.
He missed an eagle putt, but he missed an eagle putt on 14. That it was 14. That he should hit, then mishit it and failed to get the birdie as well, and then missed another birdie chance on the next hole. So could easily have shot a major record, kind of 61, 62 there. So. Tremendous effort from Cam Young. It was, everyone's absolutely thrilled to be back at the old course for the 150th Open, the 30th time it's been staged here. But when there's not much wind up, there's not a lot of defence to this course. And I can see the Brandon Grace's 62 major record certainly being equal or better this week. So, and Cam Young certainly gave it a red hot run on day 1.
And then I had a look at the leaderboard this morning because obviously, Cranberry was watching the golf all last night and all this morning. And he said, just check out the Aussies there. Like there's quite a few Aussies that are in the top 10. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Cam Smith got a lot
Cam
of
Smith, of course. But a few kind of lesser lights that you expect, like Brad Kennedy, only plays on the kind of Australian and Japanese tours. Minwoo Lee won the Scottish Open last year and kind of as great a golfer he is, he's not even the best golfer in his family. His sister Minji's certainly got him covered there. But it was Australians love links golf. And Australians have a great record at the Open Championship going back a long, long time. But it is fantastic to see so many Aussies at the top of the leaderboard.
Fantastic. And can you just run me through we've got the Commonwealth Games. We've got a Commonwealth Games package and you've named it appropriately. The Toprope Birmingham Blinders, which starts on July 28th. I love it. This is amazing. Kudos to you.
I would love to take credit for the name, but we're going to give that one to our fearless leader, Scooty, on that one. He's done well, but hopefully can get a little bit of Peaky Blinders action going. The research started last night. Got the first markets up from the tab. Found a moral in the men's squash. So
a moral in the men's squash. At what price?
Very short, so it'll be a multi-filler, $1.60, $1.70. But we'll be looking at the New Zealander whose name escapes me right now because I am not a squash man. So, but
his name escapes him because Toprope needs everybody to get to Little Birdie's shop. And as Nikki said, under the Toprope Birmingham Blinders for the Commonwealth Games starts July 28th. For $55, you get virtually 2 weeks of action. There'll be tips every day. So. He's got plenty of action in there, so it's well worth the $55 investment to get a full range to enjoy your Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, and we had a fill up on the Olympics as well. If you recall, it was a kind of enjoyable run there too. So, look, it'll cover a lot of sports. $55 to have 2 weeks of action on sports you wouldn't normally follow. It's good fun. So, we'll cross the across the sporting continuum there.
Now let's get into it. Time for Friday Lines, proudly brought to you by topsport.com.au, family owned and operated for over 35 years. Bet with the bookie you can trust, bet with TopSport. Okay, let's go to AFL Game 1. All right, we've got the Western Bulldogs taking on the Saints tonight at 7:50 p.m. Sorry, I don't normally do the Friday show. Okay, so the Western Bulldogs head-to-head, $1.65. St Kilda, $2.27. The line is 6.5 and the over-under 170.5. MG, your thoughts?
Yeah, good match to start off round 18 here, Nikki. We've got 10th v 9th, so this is a mini-final, I think, of sorts with 6 rounds to go. So the loser is going to be pushing it up the hill to get into the finals. So, big outcome, both on their home deck, so they've got no excuses. Sides are pretty solid. Bulldogs get probably the better of the team changes. They get Smith back in and also Bruce, who hasn't played this year, so he will add some bite up forward as well. So, both sides come into this game with not great form on the board. Bulldogs have been pounded the last 2 weeks, and St Kilda have lost 4 of their last 5. So both teams on the slide, and one of them is going to be, as I said, probably out of action for the finals after tonight. So big game going forward. The betting opened 4.5 to the Bulldogs, got up as high as 9. It's checked back to 6. So there's good money both ways here. So bookies are enjoying a good betting contest. I'm a bit surprised the total's probably a bit low for me. Around the 169, 170. I think in the Dome, this will be fast and furious up and down. If they kick straight, then I have a slight lean to the over. Not really in the game. I think it'll be a close game. If I was going to tip one, I'd tip the Bulldogs, but I don't think there's much value there.
Okay, thanks, MG. All right, now we're going to head to the NRL, the first game for tonight. We've got North Queensland taking on Cronulla up in North Queensland, 6 o'clock. So the Cowboys are $1.90. Cronulla is $1.94. No line at the moment, and the over-under's 40.5. So close to take your pick. Toprope. How do you see this one?
Yeah, Sharks off the map in this one up. It's 4.5 point dogs when we tipped them on Monday. It's into pick 'em now. They're missing nearly all of their origin players. They've ruled out Tom Dearden, Val Holmes, Murray Tuilagi, Jordan McLean, and Jeremiah Nanai. So that certainly kind of has Cronulla as in the A frame here. They've lost Tolman and Nakora, but they get a few back, including Nico. Sharks have dominated this matchup historically. They've won 7 straight against the Cowboys. They've covered 14 of 17. They've won the last 3 in Townsville. Well, it's been a dangerous game tipping against the Cowboys this year. They've covered 12 of 16, but happy to be the Sharks on this one.
Okay, the Sharkies up Cronulla. Now let's go to the AFL second match. So we've got Carlton Geelong. That's Saturday at 7:25 p.m. Carlton, $2.35. Geelong, $1.60. The line is 8.5 and the over-under's 157.5. Jeez, this will be good.
Yeah, probably match of the round for me, I think. Saturday night at the MCG, Nikki, as you said. Unfortunately, there's a bit of weather around forecast, which might dampen the quality of the game. But, looking forward to this. 5th v 1st on the ladder. Carlton have been going okay, up and down a bit. The last 7-game stretch have gone win-loss, whereas Geelong have won 7 in a row. So there's probably, other than Collingwood in the AFL, there's not many hotter teams going around. Expect a big crowd, although the weather might tamper that a little bit. But at the MCG, I don't know what more you can say about Geelong. They did the business against Melbourne down in their home ground last week, so that was a really good win. Carlton coming off a pretty easy win over in Perth, but it's still that travel that concerns me a little, that teams going to Perth coming up the next week are not always at their optimum. So I like Geelong in this contest. The betting's very, very rock solid around that 7-8 line, so not a lot of movement so far. But yeah, I like the Cats. I think there's a fair edge in this game for Geelong. I know they're going to the MCG, but I think they've got the defence to hold Carlton's 2-prong attack. And speaking of that, the probably 4 of the best, maybe 6 or 8 forwards in the game are on the park with Cameron and Hawkins. And then you've got the 2 Mackay and Curnow going for Carlton. So this match, hopefully the weather holds and we can see a display from both forwards. But yeah, I think I like Geelong and I'm going to stay out of the total just because of the weather.
All right, there we go, Geelong there. Now let's go to the NRL, the second match. My babies, the Roosters taking on St George. So that is 3 o'clock tomorrow. Roosters, $1.36. St George, $3.20. The line is 8.5, over under 42.5. Please tell me Toprope. We're going to win this one.
Yeah, I just certainly lean towards the Roosters here. Not a great deal of confidence the way they've been playing, but it's kind of do or die now for the Roosters. It's hard to believe they're outside the top 8 at the moment, considering the class they've got. We've still got no Luke Keary, but Joe Martin's had a good run in the halves, and I really just don't like the Dragons away from their kind of traditional home grounds at Goodwill and covered just 3 of 13. We'll see if Ben Hunt backs up. He had a pretty big game the other night. I think he played 80 minutes or close to. So, I don't know whether he will back up. But look, the Roosters in a good bounce back side. You covered 12 of 18 off a loss of more than one converted try. So, leading towards the Chooks. I think Gosford, the weather holds off, and I think it's going to. I'm not sure why I looked at the sky then, because we're about 5 hours away from Gosford, so it probably got nothing to do with it. But lean towards the over here as well.
Thanks. Let's hope that the Chooks get up with, I think it's Trent Robinson's 250th game as coach.
Yeah, and what a remarkable coaching run it's been. He won a premiership in his first year, and I think they've pretty much run top 4 all bar kind of 2 or 3 years of his decade-long run at the helm. So, remarkable effort from Trent.
Thanks, Toprope. Let's go to the third game for the AFL. We've got Melbourne v Port Adelaide. So that is Sunday, 3:20 game. Melbourne, $1.50. Port Adelaide, $2.55. The line is 10.5, over under 155.5. Geez, Melbourne, if they lose this, I'm telling you, they're cooked.
Yeah, you put the line through them a fortnight ago, and you probably haven't been too much wrong since. But just note for punters, this game's actually not in Melbourne. It's at it's at Alice Springs, so I guess it's a neutral venue for both teams. All money for Port Adelaide here, and I understand why. I think the bookies went up, almost treating this like a Melbourne home game. I think put up plus 15.5, which I just think. I know if you look on the ladder and it's 2nd v 12th, you think, it should be a bit of a mismatch. But Melbourne now lost 4 out of their last 6. Nick, as we said, I think Nikki about a month, 3 or 4 weeks ago, put a line through them and said their flag chances are over. But on the back of losing was Brownlow favourite Oliver. He is out with a fractured thumb. Just the contested ball, I think, is going to be too hard to cover for Melbourne here, and I understand why the market shifted pretty hard towards Port. It's gone now down to plus 10.5. So this is a pretty active game for me. We tipped Port at the start of the week at the plus. I'm happy with the way the market's trending. I think Port are up this into their ears, and they need to win. It's all or nothing now for Port Adelaide. So these are elimination finals going in. They need a big scalp, and this one is one they will target. So I just think with the changes of the team, losing Oliver, also like the under in this game. Started 161, it's too high for me. It's down around mid-50s, 150s now. The head-to-head contest, 11 of the last 13 have gone under between these two, and it's 8 straight unders. So it's a real good spot for the unders for me. Up in Alice Springs might be a bit slippery as well, so with the humidity. So I really like Port, and I like the unders in this game. Okay, Port there in the unders. All right, let's go to the NRL, the third game. The hotly contested West Tigers taking on the Penrith Panthers. That is Sunday, the 2:00 game. West Tigers 3.10, Penrith $1.38. The line is 7.5, and the over/unders 41.5. Surely it's just got to be one-way traffic for Penrith on this one. No, Penrith are resting all their origin players. None of them were named, so they're definitely playing. The line in this one opened a stupid 12.5, which was stupid because Penrith rested from New South Wales Cup last week. All the backups will be playing first grade this week. So it was pretty obvious as to what they were going to do. The line's in 7.5. I still think it's probably a touch too big. I've got it marked flat 6 here, so I could still back the Tigers. I don't think this game starts more than 6 points. Being's only going one way towards the Tigers here. I know it's a sick watch being on the Tigers, but they have got a good record as a big underdog, and they have covered 4 of their last 6 against the Panthers. So Penrith aren't great away from Penrith Stadium as a betting proposition covering the line. So I'll be on the Tigers here. Okay, the West Tigers there for Toprope. Now we're just going to have a quick look through the rest of the AFL games. Saturday at 1:45, Adelaide take on Collingwood. Adelaide 2.40, Collingwood $1.57. The line is 9.5, and the over/unders 156.5. Yeah, good spot for Collingwood here. One of my better bets for the week, I think. Can't believe this line is either staying or going to Adelaide. I really like Collingwood here. There is a bit of weather around, which might check it a tad. But, going into Adelaide, I don't think Adelaide are much good at all. Collingwood have won 7 in a row. So, like Collingwood. And the total, I'm just going to see how the weather goes. Stay out for now. Nothing like a bit of momentum, Collingwood there. Mm-hmm. All right, next game. We've got the GWS taking on Brisbane. So that is Saturday, 1:45 again. GWS 2.50, Brisbane $1.55. The line is 10.5, and the over/unders 176.5. Yeah, huge money for the Giants here. It's been all one way. Mm-hmm. With Brisbane, got some players back in. Down down to 10 surprised me. It's gone a long way. It's starting to get into a zone where I could play Brisbane. Haven't played it yet, but yeah, if it continues to fall, I think Brisbane might become a price. But the play here is the over. The bookie started off at 165.5. So now, we sent that out early. I don't know how they come up with doing the 160.5. The weather's fine. It's jumped 11 points to the over. So I think it'll just keep going one way and there'll be plenty of points in this game.
Okay, the over's there for MG. Now we're going to a Saturday 4:35 game. North Melbourne take on Richmond. North Melbourne $8.50. Richmond $1.07. The line's 44.5 and the over under 175.5. Maybe the line should be more.
Yes, obviously North Melbourne lost their coach during the week, so a lot of punters do like to chime in, but I just think North don't have the cattle. The line did check itself down to about 39. Now it's back up to mid 40s. Richmond will just put on whatever score they want. If they're in a mood, they'll put on a big score. But, yeah, not a betting game for me.
Okay, leave that. We're out of that one. Let's go to Fremantle take on Sydney Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Fremantle $1.53. The Swans are $2.50. The line is 9.5 and the over-under 156.5.
Yeah, very good match. 3rd v 7th. So this will be a cracking contest. Unfortunately, the AFL's put them both on at the same time with the Geelong and Carlton. So not a good scheduling there from the AFL, but yeah, we'll have to have 2 TVs set up. Lucky we've got plenty. Not a betting game for me here. I think the market's correct, and I don't think it's moved too far. The total's fluctuating towards the under, which it could be a tight game with premium, but I think there's a slight lean to the over here. But yeah, probably not a game. I think there's better bets for the week.
Okay. We'll leave that one for the moment. Now we've got Sunday game, 1:10, Hawthorn taking on the West Coast Eagles. Hawthorn $1.15, West Coast $5.50. The line is 32.5 and the over-under 158.5.
Yeah, one-way traffic. This line's moved a ton. 24.5 it started for the Hawks, now up to 32. I just think this is a game where, it smells of West Coast not drying for me. They're coming over and the betting suggested that. I just think it'll keep going Hawthorn's way. I couldn't possibly bet in the game. There's pretty good rain forecast as well, maybe up to 15 mils on the day, so it makes it messy as well. So, yeah, better bets for the week. Leave me out of this one.
Okay, we're out of that one too. Now, let's go to my boys. The Bombers are taking on the Gold Coast. That is the Sunday game at 4:40. Essendon $1.95, Gold Coast $1.86. No line at the moment and the over-under 172.5.
Yeah, like your Bombers this week. Bit of money's track for them. I think they 3.5 at the start of the week, down now close to pick. So, yeah, Essendon at home at the Marvel. It'll be a good contest. I just think Essendon's last month of footy, they look like they've let them play a bit and open up the game. So I think there'll be points in this game as well. So Essendon and overs for me in this game.
Thanks, MG. Punters, he did have a blinder of a week last week. You need the AFL Stings, and you can get that in the Little Birdie Live TV shop. That's $22 a week, AFL Stings. We're going to head to the NRL next. We're going straight to the second game for Friday night footy. Parramatta taking on the New Zealand Warriors. Parramatta $1.13. The Warriors are $6.50. The line is 17.5 and the over-under 44.5.
Yeah, what an absolute stinker for the second game to on a Friday night. Usually one of the prime time matches, but yeah, Eels were big favourites. Then COVID has struck. The Warriors have lost a couple of players there. Dallin Watings-Lesniak, their biggest name. Being he's gone from 14.5 to 17.5, wouldn't surprise me at all. The Eels started shorter than 3 converted tries. Bit of a concern though. Eels are not reliable as a favourite at the moment. They've only covered 4 of their last 13 with favourites. So can't be with the Warriors under any circumstances. They're very bad as a big underdog. Lean towards the Eels here, but not a game to get too heavily involved.
Okay, just a slight lean to the Eels there. Now we go Saturday, the 5:30 game. Manly take on Newcastle. Manly $1.36. The Knights are $3.25. The line 8.5 and the over under 43.5.
Yeah, like the Knights and like the over in this one. The Knights are in a real good bounce back spot here. They've covered 7 of 10 of conceding 40 plus, 19 of 31 of a double digit loss. Manly always overrated as big favourite at book file. Covered just 3 of 9 when favoured by 6.5 or more at the ground. Big over spot too. The over is 14-2 when Manly play at bookie at night, 67% when they're a favourite. So, yep, lean towards the big plus and the over in this one.
Okay, the plus and the over. Let's go to the next game. The Gold Coast take on the Broncos Saturday at 7:35 p.m. The Gold Coast $2.95. The Broncos are $1.42. The line is 6.5 and the over unders 42.5.
No idea how the Titans have been backed in this one. They've made some kind of wholesale changes to their side, which they probably need to do considering how bad they've been. They've covered as 5 of 16 as a home underdog of 6.5 or more, 4 of 15 of conceding 30 plus. Brisbane have dominated this matchup pretty much since day dot. Last time they met was 6 rounds ago. Titans at 24-4 at half-time, lost 35-24. So, those scars are tough to overcome. Got to be with the Broncos here, even with Cobbo missing, possibly a few other players, Origin players being missed.
Okay, the Broncos there. Now let's go to the Storm and the Raiders. This is Sunday game 4:05. The Storm are $1.21. The Raiders are $4.50. The line is 12 and the over-under 42.
Not all that fussed on laying 12 points with the Storm at the moment, considering how they've defended the last few weeks. I do think this is a pretty good bounce back for the Storm. Would rather be with them than the Raiders, but the bet in this one is the under. A rare unders play for us these days, but the under hits it's hitting 8 of 11 when Melbourne has scored 10 or fewer in their last game, 6 of 8 when they're aiming off a loss. So leaning towards them, the unders is big for Canberra as well, 29-12 when they're off a loss. So I'll be backing the under in this one.
Okay, the unders there for Toprope. Now, the Sunday game, 6:15 p.m, Canterbury Bulldogs take on the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Canterbury Bulldogs $3.35. The Rabbitohs are $1.33. The line is 8.5 and the over-under 41.5.
Yeah, the Dogs been back to 10.5 to 8.5. Probably lean a little towards South in this one, if we're being honest. Not a huge beating game sidewise, though. South have dominated this matchup. Canterbury been a much stronger team than but what they have been is a much more attacking proposition. They've seen 4 of the 6 games go over the total since he's been coached, but one of those unders was when Combank Stadium was underwater. So hard to suggest that was a stylistic kind of regression there back to the Barrett days. South are a huge overs team, 9-1 over off conceding 28 plus, 7-1 over off a win. I think the total here is too low and we'll be jumping into the over.
Okay, the over's there for Toprope. Thank you. Now, punters, you need the GGOA. He is the king of rugby league, and you can get that from $22 a week in the Little Birdie Live TV shop. GGOA, $22 a week. Thanks, MG and Toprope. Okay, that is it for Friday Lines. Thanks for letting me join you today. OB sadly away. I'll be back with you on Monday. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, download our podcast everywhere you get your podcasts from. Follow us on socials, Twitter and Insta, Little Birdie TV. All your punting is at topsport.com.au. Have a great weekend. Punt responsibly. I'll see you Monday.